Back. Chicken here. Today we're going to finally be starting the Troop Loadout series, and we're going to be beginning with, you guessed it, the Smoky Warrior attack strategy. So I got a few replays on deck here from some attacks that I saved up using the Warriors. I did all of this unboosted. Given that I already have 10 offensive statues, I wanted this to be more realistic to everyone else, so I think boosting would be a little unrealistic for most players because I'm sure most people have more balanced statue layouts. That is trash. Okay, so we're gonna go in on Dr. Terror in a minute, but first I want to go over some of my last attacks here. So basically how warriors work, a good attack basically goes down like this. There's five steps basically to using warriors. So number one, barrage any large groups of mines. A low amount of regular mines is generally okay, depending on the level of them and your warrior's corresponding level. So basically you don't want to run over two of the normal mines in one go if they're maxed. If the guy's like a level 55 or under, I would say, then I wouldn't even bother if it was just two mines, because you're probably going to be all right. Select a front building that is in a straight line, or at least a reasonable one with the HQ and flare to it, but deploy the troops after the flare is launched. So you saw what I did there before, how I got them up. And you want to flare to the building, because if you just flare straight to the HQ, they're just going to spread out in a big line and run across the entire base, and we don't want that, because you're going to need like 3 lines of smoke as opposed to 1, obviously. And then launch a few smoke screens with the final one covering the flared building. If necessary, use a med kit. So you could do that instead of like, you could do that as a way to save GB if you've already barraged a few mines away and you don't want to and the medkit's a lot cheaper than the barrage or the critters or whatever you're using to get rid of the mines. So the next is, as I've done here, flare the HQ using smoke as they go. Once they're all around the HQ, use shock bombs and or critters, if you have them unlocked yet, on as many defenses as possible. Shock launchers, flamethrowers, machine guns are all top priority, as well as mortars. I would say mortars more so than machine guns, actually. It is best to scout the base before an attack, because some defenses may not have to be shocked. This is because some may be out of range, making it pointless to shock it. So if you get a shock launcher that's like in the middle of the base, even though they're the top priority, obviously, if it's just touching the HQ, yes, you still need to shock it, but it's just something to double check before you start your attack, because that can make or break a raid, basically. So yeah, that guy went down. I forget what we started with here. So yeah, so I'm just going to keep going over the replays and discussing the tips here. So step number 5, when no more shock bombs and critters can be deployed, use medkits and then launch artillery at the HQ. You want to launch artillery as a last, like if it's the only thing you have left for GBE wise. Typically, anything like a heal is going to be a lot better use of your GBE towards the end of the raid. So for some special cases, if the main route to the headquarters is too well guarded, it may be best to flare to the top left corner and head right. This will generally cost more energy, but 150% boost of energy should suffice. So what that means is basically if like kind of like how this one was here, not really, because the HQ is so close up. If the HQ was further back on this one, and like say he had ice and like all of his mines and stuff were right in the center path, so you'd want to typically avoid something like that, and you could just run around the side here because he doesn't have any mines, so that's going to save you like 20-30 GBE, which is pretty huge. Practice placing smoke screens so that none overlap. Now you want to do this unless you're doing a really long run. If you're doing a really long run and they're not grouped perfectly, they are going to spread out a bit, so you might have to put the smoke screens closer together. so that they don't run out on the outside. Don't bother shocking defenses that are only going to be able to attack a few warriors, like boom cannons or even cannons. I wouldn't bother with. The exception to this is the shock launcher, as it has a good area of effect. However, if it's hardly in range of the headquarters, yeah, as we already discussed, it may be best to use the energy elsewhere, obviously. If you're using critters as a shock bomb alternative, which you can use, don't put them directly on shock launchers unless they are intended to distract something else. Their blind spot will prevent them from attacking them. Instead, put them on a single shot building, such as a cannon, that is not in the blind spot. This is best done, obviously, while scouting. So it's just efficiently using everything is what the game plan is with warriors. So shield generator bases. I believe I have one saved up here that I'm just going to attack live, and we'll see how that goes. Typically the worst base for warriors is when you've got a shield generator base and it's right at the far back. So basically this one. I'm not sure if he has another prototype out. He's got ice too. So yeah, this is kind of what I meant before when the one path was kind of spaced out and he's got all these mines. It's not going to be worth my time to clear them with GBE. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run up the left side. Since even the rockets aren't really going to bother me there, I'm going to try to save smoke by coming around the left side and then from the back. So we're going to see how this goes. Keep in mind I'm not boosted, so this is just a difficult strategy, to be honest. So it's not always going to be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those mines. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to flare straight to this cannon. And I'm going to use one smoke on that mortar. 2 and 3. Now hopefully my plan is here that I can kind of stay out of range of everything by staying far to this side. Okay. And I'm going to flare straight to this. And I'm going to smoke them after they take it down. Okay. I'm going to use a heal. I'm going to pre-smoke to the headquarters. Now I'm hoping I have enough shocks for both of the shock launchers, because that's going to be the only way that we can do this. Okay, just had enough. So we'll see how this goes. He does have ice, so it is it's definitely a difficult strategy to use since the shield generators came in. But this is typically the only way to to do a shield generator base that's right at the back. If he had a shock blaster, that would have been a lot more difficult as well. Just another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, in general, you want to try to avoid using warriors against a base that has a shield generator, unless the HQ is a medium level. Low level ones can't use shield generators, obviously. The HQ gets a significant amount of extra health with one. Attacking both would generally cost too much energy, as you saw there. And that's not really, it's just not the most effective strategy for shield generator bases. I mean, warriors are great, but right now, Rifle Zuka Medic is probably the strongest attack strategy. So we're going to see another replay here. Probably not that one, because we just did it. Sorry, I'm forgetting which I already played here. Admiral Steve. We'll take a go at Admiral Steve. So, this base is pretty easy. This is like the perfect warrior base. I mean, there's no ice, everything's front loaded. I can get like his entire defenses in like 2 shocks. As far as defending against a Smoky Warrior, the headquarters should be as far back as possible. Obviously, more energy is needed to reach it, reducing the amount for shock bombs when you get onto the HQ. Place mines so they're spread out, with most on the side the headquarters is on. A barrage on closely grouped mines will take them all out, as you've seen me do repeatedly. Also, too many in one area will simply result in the attacker going around them or avoiding them entirely. Flamethrowers and machine guns should be the defenses closest to the headquarters. They should be touching it for maximum effectiveness. It is generally okay to have them touching each other because attackers rarely destroy defenses as more energy is needed. Shock launchers should be able to attack all sides of the headquarters. But with some distance from flamethrowers and machine gun, place them too far back will result in fewer warriors being shocked. A really good way of placing your shock launchers is to, like say the HQ here, we'll say that the statue storage is the HQ right now. A really good way to put your shock launcher, and say this is like right in the corner, would be to have it like right here. So when they go to shock it, they're going to shock half their warriors. So it's just like when you have the shock launcher space like that, you're basically forcing them to pick their poison with either accepting that the shock is going to fire and shock their warriors, or that they're going to have to shock it themselves, or that they're going to have to waste a lot of GBE to take it out. We'll see what else we got in the log here. Did we show this one? Yeah, we showed that one. Yeah, so I had a lot of pretty easy warrior bases, honestly. That the one I did just now is probably the hardest. This guy's only level 56. Another shield generator base, but he's really low level, so I think he's all offense too. But we'll let this play. Usually the shield generator base, if it's like a front loaded HQ, you're not going to have to take out the shield generator because it's just going to take up too much energy, and you'd be better saving it off to reshock the shock launchers. So as far as defending, again, obviously you want a shield generator, far from the headquarters, but still reasonably protected. A shock blaster is also very useful at the front. Extra smoke screens are needed to avoid it. Like right when you're landing, if the guy had a shock launcher right there on the beach, I would have to put my smokes back even farther, just costing me more GBE. So basically the Smoky Warrior strategy is a useful strategy that can be used to get headquarters in the back of an island. Their damage allows them to quickly destroy it, and with large numbers it gets easier. So I would say the optimal statue layout for if you're going to mainly use Smoky Warrior is you want a good amount of GB and you want a good amount of damage. So some sort of balance to that. Definitely err on the side of more GBE because the shocks are going to be more useful to you than a few extra damage points. But yeah. 2 damage would be more than enough. If you are an ice player or you like using your resources or whatever, I would say a minimum 3 to 4 GBE and 2 damage, and that's gonna allow you to boost and basically take anybody down as far as ice players go. So yeah, I think that that covers it for the warrior guide. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have any other tips or strategies that you use related to warriors, and also let me know what the next troop loadout you want to see is. Warriors are definitely something that you want to have at your arsenal. They're just a great attack strategy. Especially they're going to be really statue dependent, I find, more so than probably more so than any other troop combination. So if you are an offensive player, then definitely you want to master the Smoky Warrior. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video today, guys. Again, let me know what you want to see next in the comments. And yeah, that's it for today. Chicken out.